Hello and welcome to Anni News, where we tell it the way it is, unfiltered and uncensored. Today, I have the honor to have a guest on my show, Clare Lopez, founder and president of Lopez Liberty LLC. If you're not familiar with her work, please go follow her on social media, look her up, and give her some love and support. Clare, what an honor to have you on the show today.
Hi, Annie. I am so glad to be with you too. Thank you for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure. Let's get started. Where do we stand when it comes to our battle and war with Islamic Republic of Iran's regime?
Well, I think what is really needed, and I'm really hopeful that the Trump administration is doing this, behind closed doors. We don't all need to know about it at the moment. But I'm hopeful that they are formulating a cohesive strategic policy for the United States, not just vis-a-vis this Islamic Republic of Iran regime, but in the broader Middle East, because of Iran's, influence, projection of power and influence throughout the region. I think we really need to be thinking about where do we go from here. That's an exactly perfect question. I will mention that I just had a new blog piece published at my Newsmax blog, where you can go at newsmax.com. It's called Will the Current Iran Regime Ever Be Quote Unquote Normal? And I write in here how our top diplomat, and his job is to be a diplomat, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, has repeatedly done two things. He has laid out exactly what the United States expects of this Iranian regime. For example, in the 12 points that he laid out at a speech at the Reagan Library in California, I think it was back in 2018, the demands that this regime would have to meet, in other words, end support for terrorism, end development of weapons of mass destruction, especially nuclear weapons and the ballistic missiles to carry them, end its support for terror like Hezbollah, Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, a total of 12. So he does that very effectively, but then even while expressing support for the Iranian people who've been in the streets protesting, demonstrating, on strike since late December 2017, more than 2 years now, expressing verbal support from the US administration for them and their quest to be free, their quest for liberty from this regime. But then Secretary Pompeo also talks about, well, if the regime could just behave like a normal nation state. So my article at Newsmax is really about how this regime cannot ever be normal. Its makeup, its ideology, its beliefs, its doctrine cannot ever allow it to be normal as a normal other nation state in the world. And I think that's what our administration needs to be thinking about. I hope they read my piece. Needs to be thinking about as we formulate, as I said before, a cohesive policy for dealing with this regime and its projection, its tentacles, if you will, throughout the region and beyond.
Yeah, I can promise you, again, being raised under that regime, there is never a chance they can behave or change their behavior. Just read the constitution of the country. The whole constitution was put together for a global caliphate. You can't ask these people to behave. The purpose of forming Islamic Republic of Iran's regime was to one day turn every breathing human being to a Mohammedan, which is a Muslim, which is the promise coming from Quran. You do that, day of peace will arrive. But again, we can hope, but not that they're going to change their attitude. We can hope that Trump administration will consider that it's not a possibility for them to change behavior, and hopefully they will read your piece and consider different ways to deal with them, which I'm going to tie that into, I don't know if you agree or not, but I really think one of the main reasons we need to re-elect President Trump in 2020 is so he can finish this business. If there's ever a president, American president, president of the United States of America, that can put an end to the chaos of Middle East, reflecting on the safety of American people, that's President Trump. He's shown it. He didn't have enough time to finish it, but I think if we re-elect him, he can finish this business. And for once, at least, American people can have a little tiny bit of peace, knowing that they're safe from Hezbollah and Hamas and Quds and IRGC and Islamic Republic of Iran soldiers in our country.
Yes, I could not agree with you more. I completely agree that we need 4 more years for this President Trump to finish the policy that he's begun. For example, when he pulled out of the nuclear deal back in May of 2018, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, reimposed tough sanctions, exerted the maximum pressure campaign. It is not finished. He is only partway through. And I mean, goodness knows, this president has been beset on all sides throughout the 3+ years now of his tenure. But hopefully, with another 4-year mandate, he will be able to finish what he has started and to help support the Iranian people. I know that they need to do this for themselves, but I think they could do with a little bit of help and support from outside. And I hope that we will help to provide some of that support that they need to them. And think about it. Without the malign influence of this Tehran regime, so much would be different in the Middle East. Already, we're seeing what I think of as tectonic plates shifting across the region, as other nation states, in particular the Gulf states like Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and others, turn to a much more pragmatic course of action, politically speaking. You can call it opportunistic, and of course it is, but nevertheless, in concern or out of concern for the threat to them and their regimes of this Iranian regime. And it is causing these Gulf states, I would say led by the new young crown prince of Saudi Arabia, MBS as he's called, Mohammed bin Salman, actually dealing with Israel. And behind the scenes, maybe not publicly, not in fora like the Organization of Islamic Cooperation or the Arab League meeting that was held in Cairo not so long ago, maybe not in those fora publicly, but behind the scenes, they are talking to, they are dealing with, they are working with Israel to counter the threat to the entire region. Yes, them and their precious thrones, but all across the region, the threat from this regime. I think that is a hugely significant shift in what we've seen go before. And I think it speaks to the magnitude of the threat that those nation states in the immediate vicinity perceive coming out of Tehran.
Completely agreed. So let's just start here. Everyone, go out there and vote for President Trump because we need him for more years. Claire, where can my audience find you, read your work, support you, follow you, anything they can do to help you spread the message?
Well, I could use with a few more followers on Twitter, where I am at Clare M. Lopez. I'm also at my name, Clare Lopez, at Facebook. You can find me regularly blogging, posting pieces at newsmax.com. I'm also a member of the Citizens Commission on National Security. And if you go to that website, you will see all of my videos and written pieces posted on a regular basis, along with others by our team that include leader Roger Aronoff, Tom McInerney, retired Air Force General Tom McInerney, retired Colonel Alan West, and more. Yeah, those would be the main places that people can find me. Please go look.
That's great. Thank you so much, Claire, for joining me today. And I'm sure you're going to come back for more.
I will be very happy to anytime. Thanks for bringing me on, Annie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Please do share it everywhere. Don't be afraid to be labeled. It's okay to be Islamophobe because that doesn't exist. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned for more. Goodbye.